It's here. Bills, Chiefs, the best game of the regular season. So far, these two teams have lived up to the considerable preseason hype. Both of them are 4-1. They're the only two AFC teams that are 4-1. Nobody is better. And this game on CBS, 4:25 Eastern on Sunday, Nance and Romo and Tracy Wolfson on the call. You can't get a game that's more exciting in October. This, of course, has been building for years. The Chiefs and the Bills have seen each other a lot in recent seasons. In fact, they've played each other twice each of the past 2 years. The Bills season has ended each of the past 2 years at Arrowhead Stadium. In 2020, it was the AFC Championship game. And last year, more notably, 13 seconds in the AFC divisional round. The Chiefs winning 42-36, and what some people, including yours truly, honestly believe is the greatest game ever played. The Bills are going to come in with a lot of motivation for that 13 seconds and trying to erase all those memories. And the Bills shellacked Kansas City on Sunday Night Football last year. They went up and down the field. Everybody remembers it for that game in the rain with Dan Sorensen getting beat over and over. But it wasn't just Dan Sorensen. It was the whole defense. The Chiefs had a clown suits on them that night. It was ugly. Buffalo left Arrowhead looking like the team to beat, clearly being the favorite, and then had a little bit of a struggle the rest of the year. Lost a few games that the Bills shouldn't have lost. They ended up being the 3 seed in the AFC. The Chiefs were the 2. And so the Chiefs ended up hosting that game. This game feels like whoever wins this game is the prohibited favorite to be the number 1 seed. With due respect to the rest of the conference, I don't know that anybody's beating out those two teams. Baltimore, Cincinnati, nobody in the AFC South, Miami, the Chargers. It feels like a stretch. These are the two best teams, both by record and by talent in the AFC, and they will do battle in a game that is going to feel like a playoff game. Now, let's keep in mind, whoever loses this game is going to be just fine. Okay, they're going to be 4-2, and they're going to win a whole bunch of games. I would surmise that the loser's probably still going to win 12 or 13 games, but the winner is clear in a way going to be in a prime pole position, right? Not only are you up a game, you're up a tiebreaker. So really, you're up 2 games on whoever the loser is. When you're looking at this game from a previewing standpoint, when you're looking at it from trying to figure out the nuts and bolts of how somebody's going to win or how they're going to lose, here's what I'd watch. The Bills are the least blitzing team in the NFL. They don't bring pressure. They only have 4 up front that they bring, and they don't need to bring much more because Gregory Rousseau's having a great year, second-year edge rusher, and then, of course, Von Miller, who has looked like the Von Miller of his youth. He has been great. The Bills have been able to terrorize quarterbacks this year. But this is going to be interesting because, frankly, the Chiefs are by far the best offensive line they've played. This is not the Titans line. This is not the Rams or the Steelers. This is a very, very good offensive line. Now, the tackles are the weaker point. The interior is great. The tackles are not. That could be the problem in this game for the Chiefs. I will say this. Against the Raiders, the Chiefs' tackles were really bad early in the game, and they were great the last 2.5 quarters. After the Chiefs improved on the line, the Chiefs scored 30 points. They went ahead and they beat the Raiders. They're going to have to play great against the Bills. This cannot be a game where Orlando Brown eases into it. And Andrew Wiley's so-so. The Chiefs are going to need to play really, really well up front. If they do, I think they win. If they don't, they lose. So that, to me, is the tail of the tape. The other thing to watch in this game, when the Chiefs are on defense, Kansas City has to be able to eliminate the deep ball in this game. They were not able to do it against the Raiders. They were largely able to do it against the Bucs with Brady and that receiving crew. They were mostly able to do it against Herbert and the Chargers before garbage time. They gave up 1 deep ball to Mike Williams. It was a great catch. Give Mike Williams more credit than you do fault the Chiefs. The Chiefs have to be able to make the Bills go 10 and 12 plays. If they can't do that, they're going to get blitzed out of their own building. I thought it interesting. The Bills entered Monday night, of course, having just smoked the Steelers 38-3. They entered the game in most sports books as a 2-point favorite. The Chiefs then beat the Raiders. The Chiefs are now somehow a 3-point underdog. This is the first time the Chiefs have been underdogs at home in the career of Patrick Mahomes, at least when he's been a starter. The only other time I can think the Chiefs were laying this many points in a game with Mahomes as the starter, it was against the Ravens in Week 3, 2020. It was a Monday Night Football game in Baltimore, and you may remember that game because Mahomes went berserk and threw for 5 touchdowns. I feel like the momentum part of this is definitely on the Bills' side, like the motivation part, I should say, right? Like 13 seconds and all that comes with that, the pain, the anger, the frustration, knowing the Chiefs are the hurdle for the Bills, right? I mean, if you're talking about winning a Super Bowl, the big giant red mountain in front of them, it's in Kansas City, and they know that. I think this line is going to give the Chiefs a lot of motivation this week. That line is disrespectful to Kansas City. That line says that if this game was in Buffalo, the Chiefs would be a 9-point underdog. I'm sorry. The Chiefs are a 9-point underdog to nobody. Now, you want to say this game's a pick 'em? No problem. I think that's probably the right line. The Bills have been a little bit more consistent this year. Offensively, they're a little bit more explosive. I don't have a problem saying it's a pick. The Chiefs getting 3 points? Well, I think if you're a Chiefs fan, you like that. And God knows Patrick Mahomes and everybody else in that room is going to take note. You can be resting assured the Chiefs are going to be well aware they're underdogs in this game. I think it's a great game. I think it's one of those games that it comes down to who gets a little more pressure on the quarterback. I think it comes down to who makes a big mistake, who turns the ball over, who fumbles, right? Who doesn't execute in the red zone. It's going to come down to situational football, and it's going to come down to the trenches. If the Chiefs can block the edges, I think they win the game. Because the one weakness the Bills have right now is they're really beat up in their secondary. But teams haven't been able to take advantage of that. The Steelers can't throw the ball. With due respect to Tua Tagovailoa, Tua get well soon. He is not an elite quarterback. Ryan Tannehill has no weapons. Matthew Stafford, we have seen the Rams now for 5 weeks. That offense is a disaster. They have one receiver, and he's a great one, but he is it, and they can't block anybody. The Ravens, not a prolific passing attack. The Chiefs, they are a prolific passing attack. They can take advantage of what is a very beat-up secondary, but they can't do it if they can't block. If you're looking for one thing in this game, watch the front. If the Chiefs give Mahomes 3+ seconds to throw the ball, I think they score a ton of points in this game. If they can't, I think the Chiefs get blown out of here. So that is going to be what it comes down to. If you're Kansas City, you've got to be able to give Mahomes time. They've done that in those playoff games, and Mahomes has gone berserk against Leslie Frazier and the Bills defense. If you can't block, you're in big trouble. So for KC, it's really simple. This should be the game of the year. It's going to feel like the Super Bowl in October.